Hey guys, welcome back to another Virgo Girl recommendation. Now, the recommendation today I am super excited to tell you guys about because this is genuinely just a fantastic movie. It's an older movie, but it has all the elements that I love. It's a documentary, or I shouldn't say it's not a documentary, it's based on a true story. His name is Tobias Wolff. It's based on his life, and it is so touching. Oh my gosh, it's so touching. The fact that he went through all the things he went through as a child is mind blowing. And also, this movie has another element, Leonardo DiCaprio, which, he's one of my favorite actors. So that, throw that in there. Coupled with, we also have Robert De Niro, who is just, man, he did some great work in this movie as well. And also the fact that the movie, they did such a great job portraying this man's, childhood life that you feel the emotions. I feel so emotional watching this movie. Part of it is because Leonardo, I said this before, he does a great job of captivating the audience, and he does a great job of making you feel every single emotion that he's acting out. So it's not hard to fall in love with this movie from the very beginning. The movie touches on something that I think is so important. It shows how, well, first and foremost, it shows what it's like to be a child who doesn't have a father in their lives and who has to solely depend on their mother. And then it goes into the other side of showing what it's like to be a single mom, young, trying to raise an unruly child by yourself, no man to help you. His father's gone. His father is not a part of his life at all. And it just shows what a woman has to go through trying to raise a man and the difficulties and the different challenges that she has to go through because she's not a man and she's trying to raise him to be an upstanding man while he's rebelling all the way through it. And at the same time, he's rebelling, but he loves his mom. You can see that dynamic where he loves his mom, but he's rebelling because he wants his dad, and he blames his mom because his mom is the only person there to blame, but deep down, he knows it's not his mom's fault. He knows his dad just took off, but who else is he going to blame? Who else is he going to act out with? So you see all of that, and you get to see from like a bird's eye point of view that all in all, they both just love each other and they both are hurting. They both need love. They both need, some type of validation, and neither one of them are really getting it from each other because they're looking for it from outside of their little bond that they have. So it's just really, really, really something to see, like from, just on the outside looking in. And I think they did a great job of showing what that's like. And although each scenario in life will be different for different single parents, I feel like this gave a good example of what it's like and what it looks like, for the most part. At any rate, Leonardo DiCaprio, this was one of his first major roles, and he did a fantastic job. The fact that he did this role when he was like, 17, 18 years old is amazing. This was him showing you that he's going to be a superstar. This is him showing you that he is a good actor, right? Just he didn't miss a beat. And this was like one of his first major roles. And it's amazing that he was able to invoke all of these emotions. And he was able to really make you feel like this kid is suffering. Like I felt like sorry for him. I felt emotional. I felt like I wanted to cry. I felt like someone needs to help this kid. So it was just all those things. And then also in the movie, it touched on what it's like to be an outsider. So and when I say outsider, I mean what it's like to be different from the quote unquote norm. So it just showed him in school and I don't want to give spoilers for the people who haven't watched the movie, but it just shows him like with another boy that goes to the school, and it shows the other side. It shows you kind of like the punk kids, the kids that are like troublemakers, and just like the goody two shoes kids, just a little bit like that. It's a small town, so it kind of shows. You get to see kind of like that aspect of it in the school that he went to, and he was in this town called Concrete, but he ended up in this small town, and it kind of shows the differences when a person is different, when you're not like everybody else. I love that they showed that, because there are a lot of people who aren't like all the other people. They're not followers, they're just unique, and that's perfectly okay, of course. But in school, a lot of times those are the students that get bullied or you know, ostracized, and things like that. So I love that they showed that aspect of it, and how that looked when maybe the two kids who aren't exactly the most popular or whatever, what it looks like when they get together and join. And they kind of touched on that a little bit as well. I like the fact that he had a friend that was so different from him, and at first, even when they wanted him to be judgmental, you could just tell that he didn't really want to be judgmental against this kid, but he just did it to fit in. And then once he started judging this kid, and you could just see that it wasn't really him. And then once he got to know the kid that he was judging, he actually ended up realizing that this kid was somewhat like him, just different. At any rate, I don't want to spoil it, but that is like an overview of how that went. But overall, this movie, it definitely shows you what it's like in life to go through a lot of hell as a child. Also, it shows what it's like for a single woman who is looking for love, and what that looks like when you have a child that you're trying to raise on your own. And what also how a lot of times women don't get to really, or some women don't feel that they can pick who they want to pick, because they're trying to also pick someone that's going to help their child, maybe like be a father figure. So it may not be the man that you want, but he'll be a good father figure for my child, and there's some stability there, so let me go this way, kind of thing. It shows how a lot of times some women have to kind of go that way in order to just kind of survive, because sometimes, like in this situation, they were poor. So to be able to survive, to be able to have a father figure, to be able to have like just the essentials, a roof over your head, and things like that, and someone there that can kind of keep your child in line, hopefully, and things like that. So it shows all of that as well. I think the lady who played his mom, she did a fantastic, fantastic job. Her name is Ellen Barkin. I loved how vulnerable she was, but at the same time, she was tough as nails. So it was so cute to see that. And I also love the way she let her son be himself. I feel like there are some parts where it's like, wow, is she just letting him run rapid? Like, does she know what's going on with him or what's going on? But, she did the best she could. I mean, that's what I saw. She did the best she could with what she had to work with. And she definitely loved her son. And at the end, I'm like, you know what? That's just how I saw it. I just saw it as her doing the best she could with the tools she had to work with. And you end up loving the mom, because she's like, it's like, oh my gosh, it's only so much she can do. And she did it. And she did it, I mean, pretty much with grace. I mean, she held her own. So I like that. Also, another thing I like about the movie is that there wasn't a dull moment. The way they carried the storyline, the way the ups, the downs, and just the way they put everything all together. And at the same time, they brought us from, so the mother, she was kind of a free spirit. So they brought us from where they started. They started somewhere. Well, when the movie first comes on, they're like in Arizona driving. So you see them and you can tell they're on their way somewhere. And so they start off there, and then they end up all the way in a whole other part of the country. It's just crazy how they end up just going to these different places on the West Coast. And just trying to, find their footing kind of thing, just trying to figure out how they're going to survive. And the funny thing about the mom is she never really had a real plan. She never had a plan. She was just kind of winging it. She didn't have necessarily a job lined up or anything. She just went to these different places, just hopeful that something would happen. And his mother was beautiful. So of course she ended up meeting guys, but she ended up meeting the wrong guys. And it's funny because in one part he does tell his mom, you do a horrible job at picking boyfriends. And she did, but again, in the movie you'll see that she's doing the best she can with her circumstances. So she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's just crazy like how it all plays out. And then in the end, I love the fact that I checked and, well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what happens to the guy in real life because that's kind of a spoiler. I want you guys to watch it and see how it kind of plays out, just to see that way you can, because I know for me at the end I was wondering, well, whatever happened to this guy? And then so they'll kind of tell you about it, like you'll see like at the end they tell you a little bit, but then when it's over, just go ahead and Google him and you can see everything that he's doing and how he ended up. But he went through hell. He definitely went through hell. As a child, and that's not a childhood that I would wish on anybody. It was just really rough. But at any rate, check out the movie. It's called This Boy's Life. And it is basically, I couldn't find it on any streaming services. So where it was, I could just like watch it like on HBO or any of the services I have, Showtime. I didn't see it on any of those. I actually watched it on Amazon Prime Video and I paid, it's not free. It's not one of the free movies with Amazon Prime. It's one of the ones you have to pay for. So I paid $2.99 to watch it. I don't see it. I didn't see it anywhere cheaper. It's on Vudu, Apple TV, Google Play, and YouTube. And all the prices I see are like $2.99. So, but it is definitely worth the $2.99. Some of Leo's best work, even though it was some of his beginning work, I want you guys to pay attention to this young man's emotions. I want you to pay attention to the acting that he's doing at 18. And you will know this was his calling from the beginning. He always said that he wanted to be an actor. Like once he found out that he could get paid to do the acting and he liked it. It was fun. He's always been passionate about acting from a very, very young age. And I think he's an example of someone who is doing what they were brought here on earth to do, most definitely. I mean, there's nothing else I think he was put here to do more than acting. So, of course, he's going to go on to he's doing other things in his life. But I mean, as far as a profession goes, acting is definitely the right field for him. I haven't seen anyone who is more fit to be an actor than Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, he hits the mark every time. And in this movie, it blows my mind that he was so young and so new to acting and he knocked it out the park. Anyway, check it out, guys. It's called This Boy's Life. I'm going to wrap the video up now. And until next time, don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.